Here is a rundown of the top doubled ear varieties for the Lincoln Cent series. We'll start off with a 2006 doubled-eared Lincoln Cent. On this coin, we don't see the entire ear being doubled like we will on some of the later coins, but here, all the same, a portion of the earlobe is clearly doubled due southwest of the intended position. Some of the lower curls of the beard is also doubled in the same orientation, but the doubled earlobe is clearly the more impressive feature for this variety. In 2023, a coin graded as MS66 Red was sold at auction for $252. Next in line is a doubled ear variety from 1997, found on the Philadelphia Mint or no mint mark Lincoln Cent. Here the doubling is displayed as a doubled ear variety directly towards the south, meaning that the entire earlobe is doubled. But unlike the previous coin, it is not just the tip, but the entire earlobe can be seen boldly doubled towards the south of the ear. In this event, we have a coin graded by PCGS as MS66 Red that was sold at auction in 2023 for $576. The next coin does technically qualify as a doubled ear variety, though it is perhaps not as obvious as the other coins, and it is not even the main feature for this variety either. But on this coin, the doubling displays not on the outside, but rather on the inside of the ear, where the doubling displays towards the northeast along what would be the cartilage of the ear, I suppose. A PCGS graded example at a grade of MS65 Red was sold at auction in 2023 for the total of $660. Now, I actually debated whether I should include this coin on the list at all, as the doubling is rather minor on the ear, as the coin is better known for doubling on the letters of "In God We Trust" and on the date, as well as being a very nice repunched mint mark variety as well. But the 1942 S over S also has some slight doubling on the ear as well, specifically in the inside of the lower ear as indicated here. It's barely there and the lighting has to be just right to even spot it as well. But in 2023, an example graded as PCGS MS66 Plus Red was sold at auction for $750. Then we head back to 1955 to discover another variety with doubling on the ear from the Denver Mint. Again, this is a case of a coin where the doubling is much more noticeable on the date, and some very attractive doubling on Lincoln's eye as well. But the ear also is a place of interest for this coin, where you can see some slight doubling on the lower ear. Here too, comparing it to a known normal coin proves useful to highlight the doubling. It really is only that tiny part of the ear that is doubled, but once you know what to look for, it becomes fairly easy to spot. In 2022, an NGC graded example of this variety was sold at auction with a grade of MS65 Red for the sum of $1,320. Then we can turn our attention to the 1939 wheat cent, where there is some more doubling to be discovered towards the top of Lincoln's ear. This is the FS101 doubled obverse cent, where most guides might point out that there is some doubling on the date towards the top of the 9 specifically, and slight doubling on the letters of Liberty, but today we are looking at Lincoln's ear, and here the top rounding of the ear is clearly doubled towards the west, both on the edge and on the inside. A good way to think of it is that there seems to be 2 lines on each side instead of just a single one. 2023 saw a coin like this one sold at auction, graded by PCGS as MS66 Red, where it closed at auction for $1,440. And then we see again basically the same type of doubling duplicated once more on the 1971 S proof cent. Not the business strike coin intended for circulation, but specifically the proof coin here, as found in the annual proof sets. Here you can see the doubling around the outline of the ear, but not just towards the top of the ear. On this example, it is seen all the way around the ear instead. This variety is of course better known for the fantastic doubling to be seen on the letters of In God We Trust. In 2024, this example, graded by PCGS as proof 68 red, was sold at auction for a closing price of $1,080. And then from there we head into the superstars for the doubled ear varieties, where things get a lot less ambiguous and prices tend to skyrocket along the way as well. One of the most sought after and simultaneously difficult coins to actually find is the 1988 doubled ear variety. On this coin there is a strong spread due south on the entire earlobe, giving the effect of an additional earlobe below the expected position of the design. For this rare coin, we can point to an example that was sold at auction in 2020, graded by PCGS as MS66 red and achieving a closing price at auction of $3,120. Then we have another coin that is far better known for much stronger doubling on other parts of the coin. This is the 1955D doubled obverse penny, listed as FS103 in the Cherry Picker's Guide, with much more noticeable doubling on the date as well as the letters of In God We Trust. But here too, there is doubling to be seen on Lincoln's ear, specifically to the top right of Lincoln's ear. It's one of those things that you don't really notice until you notice it, and then you can't unsee it. It does become a lot more obvious when compared to a normal coin or a non-variety coin as seen here. An example of this variety was sold at auction in 2023, graded by PCGS as MS67 plus red for the amount of $4,800. Another coin that you can eagerly check for a doubled ear variety is the 1941 Philadelphia Mint wheat cent. This coin has more the classic doubled ear look that most people tend to expect when mentioning doubled ear varieties, as in the earlobe is doubled rather emphatically towards the southwest. It looks like an additional earlobe, or a bump below and behind the ear towards the lower left. In 2023, a beautiful high-grade example of this coin was sold at auction in a PCGS slab with a grade of MS66 red for the sum of $5,040. And then, likely the strongest doubled ear variety is definitely the 1984 doubled obverse Lincoln cent, where the doubling is simply phenomenal, and nearly the entire ear is doubled due southwest of the final position. And I do mean almost the entire ear. This is a true naked eye variety that only requires magnification if your eyesight isn't quite up to scratch anymore. And due to its continued popularity, the coin can be quite valuable as well, as in 2023 when this example, graded by PCGS as MS68 plus red, was sold at auction for the stellar amount of $15,600. Now, there is another coin that is worth more than that, and where the doubling on the ear is not the main place of interest for the variety. This is the main, or FS101, doubled obverse variety for the 1936 Lincoln wheat cent. This coin is more renowned for the vast and impressive doubling on the date and the rest of the letters on the obverse of the coin. But here too, there is impressive doubling on the ear as well. Here again, the doubling takes the form of additional lines around the outline of the ear, both towards the top right and lower left of the ear, technically also making this a doubled ear variety coin. This example of the coin was sold at auction in 2025, graded by PCGS as MS67 Red, where it was able to secure a final price of $48,000. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about Lincoln Cent variety coins right here. Next, for the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.